This example will show how to build a many-to-many relationship in the database. Now, this is not a join that is generally supported by many relational databases. Generally, they support one-to-one and one-to-n. So this will actually be a many-to-many. Now, what we're going to do here is define the customer table and the product table. Both of these are independent tables. They actually do not have a relation to each other. And what we really want to do is we want a customer to have many products. We want a product to have many customers. This might also be used for, say, automobiles that might have a features table like AM radio, FM radio, radial tires, power windows, yada yada yada. So you might want to have one feature be associated with many cars and one car be associated with many features. So there's many examples of how this is useful. So the way we're going to define this is we're going to create another table, and I call it customer product. By convention, I just call it that. You can call it product customer or any name you wish, because it will actually not show up inside of your generated code. You notice the icon is different as well. So the way I did that was I just created a table and I made it associative. There's an associative table property, this Boolean. I just made it true. Now, the definition of an associative table is that it binds together two other tables. So if we look at the customer table, it has a primary key of customer ID. When we look at the product table, it has a primary key of product ID. So the associative table, the way it's defined is that it has no other columns except the two primary keys of the two tables we're trying to join. So I've created a customer product table, I've created a customer ID, and I've created a product ID. Both of them have been marked as primary key, and they both have the exact same data type as the table I'm trying to tie together. For example, they're both integers because the customer ID in the customer table is integer and the product ID in the product table is an integer. And the last thing I need to do is I need to tie them together. The customer needs to relate to the customer product table. So if I click on relationships, you'll see that the customer table does have a relationship with the customer product, and it's based on customer ID, customer ID. And if we go to the product table, I look at its relationships, and it has a relationship to the customer product table based on product ID. So the verification of your model actually will verify that you have exactly two relationships coming from other tables, that the primary keys are the same primary keys in the two calling tables as well. So your validation will actually handle all that. You just have to set it up correctly. So really the only rules to remember is that the associative table needs to have the two primary keys of the two tables, and it needs to be the receiver of two relationships from the two other tables, and that's it. Then you generate, which we've already done, and I've already written a little bit of code to show how this works. Now we'll build this, and this builds fine. Now what we've done is we loaded a product. So let's say somewhere in my code I have a product. I'm just going to load product and assume there's one with a primary key of 1. In any case, somehow you get a product. Now, if you notice, the product has a customers list on it, because essentially one product has many customers. So there's a customer list hanging off of it. You do not see the customer product table. As I said, that's invisible. You don't even see that at all. So it looks like the products have many customers associated with it, and I can loop through it with a strongly typed customer object. And the other direction is exactly the same. If I have a customer somewhere, say I load it with customer ID equal 27, there's a customer with a customer ID of 27, say, and I get a customer, I can say my customer dot product list. So this will actually loop through all the items, all the products in the product list. And just to show you, that will compile just fine. So essentially I can go either way. I can say product.customer list or customer.product list. And this is a many-to-many relationship.